What's up, people? This is a new NG Minute, and I am the Nature Girl 30 giving you the highlights and lowlights of TNA and SmackDown for this wrestling week of June 21st. Now, let's get started on TNA. Honestly, guys, I really don't have anything bad to say about TNA, but I am confused about a few segments. Now, the first segment that I actually did see was Mr. Anderson in a BFG series match. Okay, since Hulk Hogan has practically done everything in his power to get rid of the Aces and Eights, why in the world does he have an Aces and Eights member in the BFG series against Joseph Park? Now, I know Joseph Park is supposed to be an easy win, that's a given, but why on earth did he allow that to happen? Like, why don't you just pull a Vince McMahon and be like, look, that's just going to be a match. You're not going to be in the series. And just do something like that. It just makes no sense. And also, one thing that doesn't make any sense is Brooke Hogan's just now stripping ODB and Eric Young of their titles because Eric Young's not a woman. What gave that away? Was it the beard, the deep voice? What? I'm just curious. But regardless of that, here's my theory on the whole thing about this. Now, I really do feel that Eric Young is going to probably pull a Rock and actually start doing TNA part-time, because he actually has a show on Animal Planet right now that, from what I'm hearing, is successful. So he might just be pulling a part-timer, or there could be a chance that he made several all ties from ODB, and he might divorce her. I don't know. It's just a theory of mine. I have no idea if it's going to actually happen, but that's just a theory. And one thing I am excited about is the fact they're actually showing Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell in Vegas on Impact Live next week. Now, I really am excited about that. Sure, it's a match that was pay-per-view worthy, that should be on a pay-per-view, but let's face it, TNA really does need the ratings. So if this actually does bring some ratings up, I'm all for it. And I actually thought that was probably one of the best knockout matches I've ever seen. And yes, sure, I actually said that AJ and Caitlyn was the best Divas match ever. But I was talking about for the Divas, not for the knockouts. They're going to always be good. But the WWE Divas sucked for a very long time, so it was good for them. But I'll get to them in a little bit. But honestly, the one thing that kind of does have me a little bit twinged is the fact that Kurt Angle is the latest Main Event Mafia member. Okay. When you want to call something new, that means new. That doesn't mean reused or recycled. That means new. I would rather see Austin Aries, Bobby Roode, Magnus, Christopher Daniels, Kazarian. I would rather see those guys be a part of the new Main Event Mafia than Kurt Angle being a part of it. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh yeah, this may be a good thing, but honestly, if you want something new, make it new. Especially if you have 5 great people that can possibly pull the whole thing off. And I really feel they should actually start doing new talent, all new talent, and no veterans. That's just how I see it. But my overall thoughts of TNA, honestly, it was a pretty decent show. I didn't mind it at all. There were a few things that actually did confuse me, but I am excited about the BFG series. Especially, I'm excited about seeing Taryn Terrell versus Gail Kim in Vegas live on the next Impact show. Now, let's move on to SmackDown. Okay. What can I say about SmackDown that I really have not said before? SmackDown has gotten a lot better. It's a lot more digestible to watch, if that's a word. I will say, ever since Payback, for some reason, WWE has really stepped up their shows. SmackDown it's always been a very solid wrestling show, but they have done really well in pushing their pay-per-views. I will say this, I am highly impressed with the Divas division right now. My theory is they're stepping it up because of Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell at Slammiversary. This is my theory. They probably heard about it, how spectacular it was, and they're trying to step up the Divas division. That's how I feel, in my humble opinion. Honestly, it seems like they're moving Caitlyn away from AJ and actually starting to feud her with Oksana. Oksana needs this. She really hasn't been on TV that long, let alone period. And to be honest with you, it will really be a good feud for her. And I really actually see this as a legitimate feud, especially the fact that everyone hates AJ and Oksana. So honestly, I really do feel that this would be a really great feud for them, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with the Divas division. If they're going to do a match at Money in the Bank, it would be nice for them to have a Money in the Bank match for the Divas, and more than likely they're going to probably make it pink in a pink briefcase if they ever do one. But it would really be nice for them to actually do some sort of Money in the Bank for the Divas. That will really be a highlight for them. They'll actually have a contract for the Divas title that's good for a whole year, and they can do it whenever. They should do it for them as well as the men. That's how I see it. I really hope they pull that off. And another thing, I'm really liking Daniel Bryan's new character. I'm absolutely enjoying his new character. He's great as a frustrated face. He's really good as a heel. He's good either way, but right now, him being a frustrated face is a lot better character for him to be because he's trying to prove himself. That's the best part of a storyline that you can ever do, and that's pretty much the best thing for him right now. Randy Orton will be best as a heel because he really knows how to push a person's buttons, and I think that would be the best route for them to go. If they ever decide to make him a heel, they need to make him a heel, and I'm hoping that they do it at stuttering for some reason. I'm hoping that they do it at Money in the Bank, and I'm really hoping they have a match. I'm really hoping that they do. I really don't really see them winning the Money in the Bank since RVD is back. That's just me. But honestly, it's been all about Mark Henry and his little troll, his little troll moment, if you will, that he has done with a lot of people. And especially the fact that the commentary were completely in the dark about what he did. And that was a highlight of that as well. And in my opinion, that is pretty much the highlight, the overall highlight of the wrestling week was what Mark Henry did to John Cena. And it's more than likely they're going to probably start a feud going on to Money in the Bank. It's going to probably be Mark Henry versus John Cena. I guess someone I'm excited about it because it's one-sided. Mark Henry's going to dominate him, and he's not going to have a shot in the dark. But that's for another video at another time. But there's other two things. There's other 2 points that I really do want to mention before I actually close this with a discussion. Why in the world did they let Cody Rhodes tap cleanly, then just have Damien Sandow come in and do a DQ? Because for some reason, Cody Rhodes really hasn't had his shot. He hasn't had his break. He's had his break a few times, but it seems that he just his career is kind of at a stagnant standstill right now. He puts on good matches, don't get me wrong. But for some reason, when he starts to have a push, he kind of goes up and then he just stays there. He just kind of flatlines and just stays there. And it really made him look weak when he tapped out cleanly and then Sandow comes in, knocks Sheamus out and pulls him out the ring. What's up with that? I mean, come on, man. At least do something with Cody Rhodes. But honestly, from what I saw on WWE.com as well as on Twitter, Cody Rhodes is not happy with the WWE. The fact that they're actually overusing and putting too much dependence on their veterans. And he pretty much stated that out openly and honestly, and usually that gets you in trouble, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why his career is where it's at right now. Just ask Kofi. If you make fun or if you piss off anybody at in the Breakfast Club, you're kind of stuck where you are. That's pretty much what it is, but I could be wrong. Don't get me started about that. But it has been noted. But honestly, my overall thoughts of SmackDown is that SmackDown happens to be a really good show. They have done a really good job in promoting their pay-per-views. Ever since Payback, they really have stepped it up. The Divas division has definitely stepped it up, especially Caitlyn's supposed feud, actually blossoming feud with Oksana. They have done a really great job with Alberto Del Rio as a heel and him getting great heel heat, as well as... Now, this is the one thing I actually forgot to talk about. It hasn't been any confirmation at all for Ziggler to be a face. It was a huge moment at Payback when we actually did see Ziggler and Alberto Del Rio in the double turn. When we actually saw the double turn and witnessed it, it was a great moment because they did it so well. But there has been no confirmation at all because we have not heard any promos from Dolph Ziggler since he came back about what happened that previous night. So we don't really know whether or not he's an actual face. There hasn't been any evidence yet. We just pretty much assuming that he's a face right now because it would make more sense. Since Alberto Rio's a heel, it would make more sense for him to be a face. But I don't know. After his little bickering with a little bickering moment that he had with Chris Jericho, I really don't know. He could be a frustrated face. He could be an in between. Well, that's pretty much the same thing. But either or, he could probably still be. He could be either or. It hasn't really been confirmed yet. But I'm really thinking that he's actually going to be a face. It makes more sense for him to be a face. I just don't know whether or not he'll be able to pull it off, but we'll see. But honestly, like I said before, my overall thoughts of SmackDown is that SmackDown has improved greatly, especially after Payback. And I really do think that they're trying to step up their game because of Slammiversary. I don't know what the ratings were for Slammiversary. That is just my theory on it because they have really, really did a good job in improving it. But my discussion of the night for you guys is, what do you think about the WWE as a whole? Do you feel they're actually improving their product? Or do you feel their product is actually the same and they have done nothing to change it around? Leave your comments in the comment section below or send me a video response. I am all ears to hear what you guys have to say. And honestly, I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about the Divas division, because I know that everyone's been talking about that's a bathroom break moment. But I'm going to be real. After Payback, I really see that there's going to be a lot of great moments coming up for the Divas. And I really want to hear y'all's thoughts on that as well. This is Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.